has ordered finally a stay-at-home order, so, thank you for protecting your citizens. Yeah, apparently the governor of Florida finally, put the remote, turned the TV on, and sees what's happening, I don't know, in the world. So I see this ex-Ravens scout, my buddy Daniel Jeremiah, used to be a scout for the Ravens. And he was looking through some old stuff the other day, and he found a document he received in his time with the Ravens, who descended from the Cleveland Browns after they moved from Baltimore. And it was what Belichick's ideal offense looks like. And it's really fascinating. Every position, every single position. I mean, this looks like, it's 1991, so it's like 35 years ago, how many years that is. But the quarterback situation, the quarterback script is very interesting. So this is Belichick in 1991 when he was in Cleveland. Number one for a quarterback is to make good decisions, then arm and size and toughness leadership. Okay, accurate rather than a guy with a cannon. Emphasis on our game will be on decisions and accuracy. He needs to be intelligent, confident, but not as much as field awareness. Judgment. Can't be sloppy fundamentally. The quarterback has to be able to throw the ball with accuracy. Now you see why they don't want Cam? He mentioned judgment twice, accuracy 3 times. Cam's not his guy. So when all these things come out, Bill Belichick has not changed. You can say what you want about Cam. Accuracy is his weakness. Bill mentions it 3 times in 1991. Judgment, not great. He also mentions twice mechanics. Footwork, drops, release. Can't be sloppy fundamentally. Cam is talented, but his mechanics, to me, are way below average. So accuracy and mechanics, way below league average. Well, that's what matters to him. The third thing is judgment, and sometimes Cam has good judgment. Sometimes he doesn't. I mean, that one's hit or miss. I think it's average to slightly below league average, what you'd want for an ideal quarterback. It's certainly not in the Russell Wilson, Drew Brees category of judgment. But when people say, why wouldn't New England go... Well, there's nothing about Cam that interests him. And so what did he say over and over that matters? I'll give you an example of this. When Tim Tebow came out, I was never a Tebow fan. And I love watching SEC football. But there was a time, I thought it was just unbelievable. This was one of the things that was unbelievable. I was called contrarian. I worked at ESPN, and legitimate ESPN NFL people were like, he's won 7 straight. This guy, and I'm like, stop it. He completes 47% of his throws. You can't win in this league long term. You can win games. Nobody's going to build around a guy that completes 47% of his throws. That's always been my knock on Cam. Well, his receivers, his back, he completes 59% of his throws. That's his career average. That's not good enough. And he's had multiple coordinators. He's had multiple people to throw to. He's had multiple offensive line, but he's like a 59% guy. So in this day and age, if you're not 63, 64, 65, generally, you better be able to run around a little because that's like the baseline. So I never, ever bought into Tebow. It didn't matter that he won 7 straight games. It didn't matter that he could run around. It didn't matter that he was profoundly popular. It didn't matter. He's not accurate enough. And his mechanics, as much as Tim worked on him, he had a goofy, wacky, slow windup. So there you go. That's why a lot of people are like Belichick. That's what matters to them. What matters is accuracy, judgment, and mechanics. And by the way, not everybody has great mechanics. Like Lamar Jackson's throws a little quirky. But I'll tell you, from rookie year to year 2, got better. Lamar's mechanics got better. And now, Phillip Rivers, never good ever. He's been throwing that way since he was 8. I saw him in college. That's the way he throws. But Lamar's were a little quirky. 1 year, rookie year to second year, I'm like, Lamar's are better. With Cam, his mechanics, his footwork has always been below average. So there you go. That explains a lot. I also saw this. NBA players now are discussing, today's their last paycheck for a lot of players, right, if the season doesn't go on. And the one thing I'd like to say about this virus, and I said this to start the show, the NBA cannot worry about perfect. It's a new normal. By the way, go right into the playoffs, regular season's done, 67 games. Yep, Empty arenas. Yep. Centralized location. Consider it. Get out of perfect. Okay, that's we're not living in that world. But I also think what the NBA is doing and what I'm hearing, I got a text today on this. There's a lot of confidence within NBA player executives and owners, and it's building. They're going to get this season in. The NBA is convinced they're going to get this thing in. This is what I like to hear. They're not seeking perfect. This is abnormal. This is suboptimal. The NBA, let's not talk about China. I don't believe anything out of China. I don't care about their data. I don't care about the Chinese Basketball League. I don't want to compare us to China. I don't want to compare us to Europe. It's America. New York's got a real crisis. It's not great in Michigan, Louisiana either, or Jersey. The NBA is managing this and discussing things we all need to discuss. By the way, I think there's opportunities here to shorten the NBA season or at least change when it starts. And I'll give you an example. Some of this stuff, we're going to become a more efficient nation with this. Airports are far more efficient today than they were pre-9/11. From tragedy comes change. From the virus comes change. There are parts of this country that will actually learn from this. I'll give you an example. I think fewer people will go to work and more people now, 10, 12, 15% of the economy, people are going to start figuring out, I can work from home. I worked from home for 2 months. I was just as productive. What does that mean? Less traffic, less smog, less pollution, less crowded roads, less car deaths. Like if that comes out of this, then about 8% of the population 10 decides, you know what? That Zoom company, I can actually work from home. And companies start saying, you know what, saves us some money. Let's have more people work from home, more family time, less traffic, less pollution. I mean, I drive around L.A. It's never been cleaner. I mean, it's unbelievable. I can literally see for 100 miles. It's unbelievable. So I like what I hear from the NBA. We have a situation now where players, this is the last paycheck. And so you get in a situation where players are going to be like, okay, I want some money. Unless you're LeBron, that can matter, right? And players are going to have to start waking up in the morning and thinking, listen, no fans possible. Centralized location possible. Robotic cameras possible. Our coaches wear masks possible. Manage crisis. Manage it. I'm hearing very positive things from the NBA. Really, a source I absolutely trust says there's a growing belief they're going to get this thing into some level. I like what I'm hearing. Greg Jennings around the corner. It's third.